I didn't want to give you all any sound because I just thought we'd look at each other for a minute and connect. You know what I'm saying? Good afternoon and welcome to Let's Talk, where we talk about the important issues and highlight amazing organizations and individuals making an impact in our community, particularly right here in the DMV. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer. And today we have four amazing guests. No strangers to Let's Talk and no strangers to you all in the DMV, but coming with some new and exciting information about some things that you really need to know about. First up, we're going to talk to Terrance King. He's the president and CEO of the National Children's Center, who will discuss with us the organization's programmings and its upcoming gala. You know, the National Children's Center does incredible work in our community, and we just know you'll want to hear more about what's on their agenda. And next, Dr. Carletta Hunt. She's the president of the Black MBA Association Incorporated, Washington, D.C. chapter. And this membership organization is open to individuals on a journey into the corporate sector. It is an amazing organization that the national organization met recently here in Washington, D.C. Dr. Hunt is going to tell us more about how that organization functions, what benefits of joining the organization, and the extraordinary opportunities for networking and professional development, which, you know, are extremely important in today's competitive job market. So stay tuned to hear more from her. And our third segment, we will shine a light on October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, with filmmaker and advocate Vanessa Anthony. She's going to update us on her project, the Atonement Series, which is a powerful testament to resilience and healing in the face of trauma. And then we're going to close out our program with the incredible Wintley Phipps, singer, songwriter, record producer, minister, and founder of the Dream Academy, a nonprofit organization that does incredible work to uplift children of incarcerated parents to help them achieve to their fullest potential. And Wintley Phipps will be here to share details of their upcoming Power of a Dream celebration that'll take place at the Duke Ellington School of the Arts in October. And actually in just a week. I've given you just a little detail on all of those things, but our guests are going to fill us in on more details. And we look forward to you staying with us to talk about or to hear what they have to share. Before we get started, I want to say thank you for your continued support of the Washington Informer. And remind you, if you haven't already done so, grab a copy of our latest issue right here. You know, I love to show this. I'm like the TV commercial where the guy pulls out the business card and says, bam, this is my bam. This is the Informer print edition. We keep printing. I mean, people keep telling us about digital, online, all of that, and we are there too. But we know that this is our bread and butter, and this is what makes the community really feel connected, or us feel connected to the community, where we can distribute the newspaper to over 600 locations throughout the DMV. So we hope you've picked up a copy, and if you haven't, we know that you can, because we're there too. Where you are, we are. We have our digital edition, which you can access by visiting our website at WashingtonInformer.com. And while you're there, we hope that you will sign up because you can get the Informer delivered to your mailbox every day. All you have to do is give us your email address, and we will, I said every day, because we do have a newsletter that comes out every day called Win Daily. And in addition, we have some other exciting newsletter resources that you can tap into. We'll be launching our House DC edition on Sunday. So anything that has anything to do with home ownership, how we can keep homes Black owned in our community, that's what our house will be focusing on. And then there are other things that we're doing as well. So when you go to the website, please sign up, but definitely sign up for Win Daily, because we want you to be a part of our Washington Informer family. And as I said, you know, once you get there, you can follow us on the social media channels. We're everywhere. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Nextdoor, LinkedIn, YouTube, and my channel. I'm getting ready to come up with, but I haven't come up with a name for it yet. But anyway, that's just a joke that probably wasn't funny. But for real, we need our own social media channel. So when we get one, we'll be there as well. So we hope that you will become a part of our family and just connect with us any way that you can. And when you do connect, share it. Share it with your friends, your colleagues, even your enemies, because sometimes they need to know information that is important for our community. So anyway, speaking of latest news and events, one of our supporters, AARP, will be hosting a pickleball. I've never played pickleball. Have you, Damon? No, and I doubt if Chevrolet has either, but maybe she has. We'll find out. Then maybe she could put something in the chat. If you play pickleball, I'd love to know what your experiences have been like. But AARP is going to be hosting a pickleball and health screening event on October the 19th and 20th in Ward 7 at the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation, located at 20 Stoddard Place in Southeast. And so you can aim your phone, if you can get it there, to the camera on the bottom right side of that flyer and get the QR code so that you can register for this event. We certainly want folks to be there, and also to get the health screening, I think, is what's most important, so that we can go into the winter season when things get a little tough as it relates to challenges to our health, to get ahead of that. So again, that's the AARP pickleball and health screening on October 19th and 20th in Ward 7 at the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation at 20 Stoddard Place in Southeast. Now, we are going to move forward with our program. I don't know what that dinging is, but I'm going to try to stop it because it is so annoying. And I just want us to be able to have a conversation without interruptions. So here we are. We are honored at this point to bring on our first guest, Terrance King, the esteemed president and CEO of the National Children's Center. And I want to say, with a heart as big as his vision, Terrance has dedicated his life to championing the rights and well-being of children across the nation. I could go on and on about you, Terrance, but I want to make sure you have enough time to talk about, yourself and the National Children's Center, which has been in the DC area for many, many years. And so welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you, Denise. It's definitely a pleasure to join you this morning on Let's Talk. So thanks for the opportunity.
So I know NCC because you all are actually just a couple of blocks away from us on Martin Luther King Avenue. But as a student growing up in Northeast DC, Northeast, Northwest, when I attended Rabault Junior High School, I used to pass the children in National Children's Center right over there off of, it's not Peabody, but near that community over there. Are you all still located there?
No, yeah, I think you were mentioning 6200 2nd Street. We used to be
exactly. Yeah.
We moved there back in 2017. We moved from that location.
Okay, I just wanted to get that clear in my head because that was my first awareness of the Children's Center, and knowing the work that you all were doing. So tell us where you are and give us some background on the National Children's Center.
No, I appreciate that. The National Children's Center, we are celebrating, been around for 65 years. We've been providing and been a leading advocate, resource and community partner here in the DC metropolitan area for that period of time. We provide comprehensive services catering to individuals from ages 8 weeks to 5 years of age with and without abilities at our Early Learning and Early Intervention Center in Southeast DC. But also the largest side of our organization that sometimes our name doesn't always recognize is our residential side. We support adults 18 to end of life who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. And as I always say, we try to support them to live as independently as you and I, Denise, so that they can provide the support and services that they need. And so we've been doing that work and excited for it for the last 65 years.
I want to say that it's not just the center. You all have a campus. It's huge. And I actually drove up on the back end of that the other day, and I think that belongs to you. You even have a garden in the back of the school. Is that the case?
Without a doubt.
That
In
correct?
2017, we built our Baby Bloomers Urban Garden. We have over 70 raised garden beds, providing all forms and fashions of healthy nutritional food. Not only the garden, but we have a certified beekeeper that we also harvest our own honey. And so our
Mm.
facility at 3400 MLK is a large location, and we're doing exciting things for the kids in Ward 8.
How many students do you all have there?
Currently, we probably have around 140 plus kids and growing. We've had, prior to the pandemic, we probably had around 189 children. And as I mentioned, from 8 weeks to 5 years of age, and with and without abilities. And so that space there has been there, a fragment of the Ward 8 community for quite a while. And we're continuously growing. And again, not only early learning, but we are early intervention. And so we are proud of the work and the services that we're doing at that location.
Give me, if you don't mind, Terrance. First of all, is there tuition? Does it cost to attend the Children's Center?
Yes, I mean, it's, most of our children there are subsidy, but we do
Hmm.
have private pay as well. We're providing that for quite a while on that end of it. And so we always welcome that. Again, although we're located in Ward 8, we have the ability to bring in children beyond that. We've held our second summer camp this past summer, where actually we brought drones in for our kids to interact and play with. And so some of the things we really try to do is provide services and support that they may not always have access to in that space and that time. And so it's a space that we continuously look to see how we can expand and grow those services to provide not only the learning, but that interaction need. And I think one of the things we're most proud of is the healthy, nutritional environment that we provide. I think we might be one of the only facilities in the wild that we have our own commercial kitchen. We have our chef
Wow.
and space inside, and that we provide for breakfast and lunch. We don't bring food outside, but our chef and our crew there, they provide healthy nutritional meals for the staff and the kids on a day-to-day basis.
Sometimes, I often wonder about the path that people take to get them to one place or the other. And when we talk about education, there's a dearth of African American men that are in this space. And here you are, president and CEO of the National Children's Center. How did you end up there?
That's a great question. How I always say I'm new to the nonprofit sector. I started in 2017, and my start really came about with our urban garden. I had connected and was connected to NCC by social media. I saw that they were looking to build their garden at the Early Learning Center. At the time, I had a high school student. I said this would be great work and an opportunity for her to grab some service hours. And so my connection to them came in 2017 when I came down to the garden and having a conversation with my predecessor and a great friend and mentor, Patricia Brown, who was the CEO here at the organization at that time. And really, I always say things happen not by chance, but by the opportunity that it's meant to be. And so we just started having some conversations. So I came into the organization as the chief operation officer, COO. And so I've been here since 2017. Patricia Brown decided to retire last October. And this week is actually my 1 year, anniversary sitting in the seat of the CEO. So I'm honored to be supporting such a great organization who has had such a fabric and provided great services in this area for so long. So I always say I couldn't ask for a better opportunity and place to be at this time in my life.
So, part of what I do sometimes is connect dots. And I don't want it to sound like, you just were at the garden and then you got a CEO job, because a lot of people might end up over at the garden trying to get your job. But
Right.
you evidently there was a path that you took. I guess as educator, business person. I mean, how did you get interested in working with children?
So the path, and again, I know we focus on our children, but our spectrum of work is our early learning center. But again,
Okay.
we have an adult population as well. And so I really think the big path also is, although sometimes you look at the nonprofit sector, it's not necessarily a business. And so my really involvement, my history has really been on a leadership business perspective. And so
Okay.
that's the real path as far as my connection here, because we do great work, but the only way that we can continue to do the work that we need to do, we need to make sure we're doing it in a sort of a business format. generating revenue, providing the great services. And so really the path is really just that side of it as far as the need of the organization at that time. And again, it's not just the work that we do at our early learning center. Again, I think it's sometimes a misnomer because our largest side of the organization is actually our residential population, that 18 to end of life. We have adults who have come from the institutionalized setting. And so our focus is supporting them to live as independently as possible. We probably have 50 plus or more group homes in the area that we support them to live in.
Wow.
And we provide ongoing transportation in regards to what their needs might be. So again, I think sometimes when we say National Children's Center, the focus always shifts to the great work that we do at our early learning and the early intervention center. But I don't want our residential population to feel like they've been left out in regards to the support, the work, and their connection to the organization as well.
I'm so glad that you made that connection and certainly did and highlighted that, because that is something I wasn't aware of, and I'm sure a lot of folks aren't. And so that's important because it does sound like it's important work. And, as a now, from the business side, talking about a nonprofit, we definitely want to talk about the gala that's coming up, because I know that's important. But before we do that, I'm curious to know, how do you all determine what's makes the center successful? What is it with your adult population and even your children? What is it you're trying to do to get them from point A to point B? And what is point B?
When we look at our early learning center, we support and provide services for kids with and without disabilities. We integrate them together, and so I think one of the successes is trying to see where they go after that. Once after they age out at 5 years of age and go into the DCPS school systems, how they integrate into the school system and the support that they have. Quite often, we've lately been doing where are they now, so that we can see those advancements not only for kids at our early learning center and that success. I think one of the things that we're proud of at our early learning center is that we are a high quality facility. High quality meaning the services, not only the services, but the learning, the education that we're providing. So we're under the umbrella of OSSI, the Office of State Superintendent's Office. And so we're very proud of that accreditation and try to maintain that, so that we're just not a day center, but it's actually a learning center. It's actually those kids that might be coming in with some type of a challenge, we're improving those abilities as well. And then when you look on our residential population, as I mentioned before, it's about independence. It's about empowering them. It's about allowing them to feel like they live and work and thrive just as independently as you and I. And so when you say what's the success, that's the piece there, is how are they living on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's really where we try to focus. Not just providing them a place to stay, but providing them the enhancement of their lives on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's real special work that you all are doing. And it's good to know that the Children's Center, National Children's Center, is there to provide that. But also, it takes money. And I assume that's part of the goal of this gala. So give us some details about what's coming up.
Well, we're excited about the gala. Celebrating 65 years, that's a milestone event. And so on October the 10th, Thursday, from 6 to 10 p.m., we will be bringing together family, friends, business partners, and other connections to the Ronald Reagan International Trade Center, so that we can celebrate that milestone. We're excited about it. As you mentioned, it is a fundraising event. That's one of the purposes, but it's also a purpose of relationship building. And so, as you can see here, we're excited about our honorary chair, Rosie Allen Herron, who will be coming in and sharing a few words in regards to the work that we're doing as well. And anytime you have a celebration, you definitely need some form of entertainment. And so we're excited to have Marcus Johnson, a local jazz pianist and keyboardist, that will be performing during the dinner hour. We're excited about that. But just as excited, Eric Carpenter Gratham, he's a strong young man, age 19, that he is doing great work and a strong songstress. So we're proud that he's going to be opening up our program, singing as well. And so obviously with our host, Delia Gonke, she's a former of USA 9. But we're excited about the event. But again, it's a celebration. We only come together for our galas every 5 years. It's about speaking about the successes that we have and also
Mhm.
where are we headed in the future. And so I think those that are going to be in attendance, they can expect a great time, great food, great entertainment, but more important, coming together, connecting, relationship building, and really understanding, because as you said, not everyone knows who we are, National Children's Center. And so I think it's an opportunity for us just to continue to spread and share the great work that not only have we been doing in 65 years, but what we're looking to do moving forward.
Well, that's the part I think that's really exciting because, it's not like, everybody that's born into this world comes with, the capacity that we think everybody should have, but there are resources out there to support us or our children into adulthood. And I'm glad that you all are there to make sure that their families have the support that they need. And so we put the flyer up. We want people to sign up. I hope we can, or to register. There it is, to get information about the gala. And it also, I'd just like to ask if people want to know more about the National Children's Center, how would they use the same email address? I'm sorry, website, NCC. Okay.
Please do
All right.
use
We've
the
got
same
over
website.
there.
Go out to www.nccinc.org. You can connect with us that way. We're all on all formats of social media, and I would always encourage folks to go out to share, like us on the social media platforms, just to help us to advance and push forward our messaging and the great work that we're doing.
So, Terrance, before I let you go, is there anything else you want to share with us that I didn't ask?
No, I just think that, we are excited about, again, not just the 65 years that we're doing, but we're excited about people understanding the work that we're doing in this population. And so National Children's Center has been around for that milestone. And so we appreciate, if nothing else, just as I mentioned before, we're on all focus of the platforms of social media, as far as Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and so go out, like, and share us. And we're just appreciative of the opportunity with Washington Informer partnering with you. And if you haven't had a chance to do so, please go out to our website. We're always looking for donations and for opportunities to partner. And the last thing I would say, we also look for volunteer opportunities. As I mentioned, we have our Baby Bloomers Farm. We also do a Power to Pallet as far as grocery distribution. So we're always looking for folks who want to come out and volunteer also. So
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. And I guess the last question I would ask too, periodically, I guess you all do open houses. Are there ways that people can come and just see the center and figure out, if it's a space for their child or adult that may need your services?
I appreciate you sharing that. Yes, we have. We do open houses at the Early Learning Center. I think we've actually been holding them once a month. But you can also go out probably to our website to find information to send that out, because we are always supporting and looking to open enrollment and growing that number, as I mentioned before. And so right there on 3400 MLK, please go out. And if you just want to come out and visit the building, visit the space, just let us know, because I think the great work, not only inside those four walls, but things that we're doing outside of the four walls. And then the last thing, if you don't mind me saying,
No, go ahead.
come December, we actually every year we have a Christmas in Candyland in Ward 8. And so with the children, we will have Santa Claus on a horse-drawn carriage, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. We will have probably once again Delilah the camel. And so it's a great time for the children, but also the community to come out and support it as well. So we look forward to the Christmas holidays that's fast approaching.
Well, you can count on us to help to spread the word. So we want to make sure folks know and that they're out there. And who knows, you might find me in your garden one day, just trying to figure out, what do you do in a garden?
Come on, visit us with the garden and come out and get some of that fresh, great honey we provide with our honey harvest. So we look forward to seeing you.
All right, Terrance. Thanks a whole lot. Terrance King,
you.
President and CEO of the National Children's Center, and with the 65th Annual Gala coming up on October 10th. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you.
All righty. So our next guest, we don't want to keep this ball rolling because I know it's Friday and folks are trying to do what they do on Friday, but I want to bring on our next guest. She's a trailblazer in the business world, a champion for diversity and inclusion, and the current president of the Black MBA Association of Washington, D.C. Welcome, Carletta Hunt. Are you there?
Hi, Denise. I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. So we were talking off camera about this amazing, amazing conference that you all brought to
Yes.
Washington, D.C. I mean, if people were downtown and kept saying, where are these people coming from with
Yep.
these, looking like there's so much businesses and activity. It was 9,000 of your members in D.C. for
Yes.
a week. It
Yes.
wasn't a caucus. It wasn't correct. It came
No.
after the caucus.
No. Right.
Carletta, tell us what folks were seeing.
Well, so it's our 46th annual national conference hosted here in Washington, D.C. The national conference, well, the national organization was started in 1970, sorry, in Chicago. And we've been doing the conference now for 46 years. So 9,000 attendees. We are the premier career expo for Black professionals looking for a job. One requirement we have for anybody on our floor of the 275 corporations and organizations who came to DC looking for Black and brown people to hire. That's what we require that. And so people come for that. They come for the access, they come for the opportunity, and they also come to network. It's like a family reunion. We say you come every year because you see your friends, you see some acquaintances. And it's also about relationships. We really focus in on the idea that even if you're not looking for a job today or last week, coming to this conference puts you in front of individuals who not only look like you and sound like you, but also looking for voices like yours to be in their corporation.
So it's the Black MBA Association. Describe what this, because you're saying Black professionals, and I'm thinking they're all
Yes.
MBAs, but explain who they are and a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so our new tagline is MBA not required. Of course, back in 1970, the world was very different. Not that much different, but still different. And so getting opportunities was not easily attainable for Black MBA students. And so they got together, and that's how it started. And I fast forward, even when I joined the organization back in Atlanta in the late 1990s, I didn't have an MBA. They said, "Oh, this doesn't matter as long as you have an advanced degree and I was an entrepreneur." And so we really about the advancement of Black people, period. So whether you're an MBA, only have your bachelor's, or really just not even have some sort of degree, if you're about business and building economic wealth in the community, then we want to support you. And so that's what our conference is about. Now, me, I'm an educator by trade. I actually got into the Black MBA through a program called Leaders of Tomorrow. So LOT, as we call it affectionately, is our youth development program. It's an opportunity for us to reach back and help those in middle and high school learn about themselves through public speaking, leadership, career and college readiness, but also exposure. And so I joined the Atlanta chapter as LOT chair because I'm an educator by trade. I love working with young people. And that gave me my foot in the door. And I've been here ever since. And so the love I have for the organization is based on this idea that we work from grade school to grad school, that we want to support everybody in the middle. And our main focus is economic wealth and empowerment. How do we do that? We can do it through education, exposure, and entrepreneurship.
So let's talk a little bit about how the MBA Association of DC actually functions in Washington, DC. You're talking about from elementary school through.
Yes.
What are some of the programs that you all have initiated in the DMV?
Yes, education is one of our strongest pillars that we focus on to connect it to the national organization. So I mentioned LOT, so that's for middle and high school students. And then we also do this upcoming holiday season, we always do either tour drive or a coat drive. So this year we're doing a coat drive. So last year we was able to support one elementary school and a shelter with over 100 items for the winter months. And so we do that as a way of giving back. And then also for graduate school, now of course, MBA, you assume MBA, but also we would support students who get just a regular master's or a doctorate. So we have scholarships and professional development opportunities. One thing we're really proud of the last 4 years through a sponsorship with Raymond James is to take students to conference free of charge. So it covers their registration, their airfare and hotel to make sure they're able to be in the room, right? I mentioned those 275 corporations looking to hire Black and brown people. We want to make sure our students are there getting those opportunities. So we've been able to do that. And then we also do a scholarship. And after COVID or during COVID, we decided we would add a new scholarship category, which is economic hardship. So we have our members who've already finished their degrees. They're in working and living. They still have student loans or just student debt. And so we decided to offer them an opportunity. So while you're in school, yes, you do need money, but also once you graduate, those bills are still coming. So we had that about 4 years ago. I'm really excited to see that grow.
And this is all the work of the Washington, D.C. chapter,
Yes.
which I assume it just doesn't include the District of Columbia, but does it include Maryland, Virginia?
Yeah,
How is that?
this chapter started in 1976. 6 years after the national started. And we cover the whole Metro DC area. So Maryland, Virginia, DC, we reach all of those places. In addition to that, we do partnership with Philadelphia, New York, and North Carolina, because it's a East Coast corridor. So we've been excited to work with them as well.
And, one of the things that we observed as a result of COVID, people have talked about this, it has been the growth of entrepreneurship. I mean, individuals who started, small companies, they were home making cupcakes, and now they have a cupcake company or a jewelry company or a fragrance company or what have you. So how have you all, worked with and supported these individual entrepreneurs?
No, that's a great question. And what we do is like we support Black businesses. Like we actually hire them for our events. We are working with an event company right now that's Black owned, Black female owned. And then even when we have events and activities, we attempt to use spaces and places that are owned by Black businesses. And one thing we also offer, the Professional Development Series, we have partnerships with the Marriott. They have an amazing minority hotel ownership program. We've done 2 workshops with them. And then we also work with other organizations like WACIF, WACIF, and the Enterprising Women of Color. Have a great partnership growing with them. So what we want to do is make sure our members know about what's happening in the DMV. There are so many free resources. We also had the department, it's 2 DC entities that provide free services for business owners, whether it's a business plan, find out if you need to get trademarked, and making sure our members are aware of that. So we do a lot of work around education. So education, I said, is the key, one of our main pillars. So we'll make sure they know what's available to them and what you can get for free versus paying for. There are so many services that the DC offices offer that our members just weren't aware of. And like last year, we have a series called Black Brilliance, and it's based on business and economic development. So all that talks about is if you're a small business owner, whether it's operations, whether it's marketing, whether it's legal, we want to make sure you have all those pieces. So once a month, we have a workshop series that focuses just on that.
So, you said a whole lot. I mean, it's almost like, dollars dropping from heaven that you all, are providing for small businesses.
We hope so.
And, we're happy here at the Washington Informer to be in partnership because a lot of the information that you are providing today, appears in our publication. That's why we keep telling people to pick up the issue because it's right there. Carletta is doing her job, making sure that the information is disseminated. But, let's talk a little bit about the mission and vision of the MBA, Black MBA Association. I mean, what is it actually is the goal of the organization?
Our goal is to help our community build wealth creation through education and entrepreneurship. And everything we do is connected to that. So like we mentioned, the scholarship, that's education. And even us giving professional development workshops, working with Howard University, Bowie State, making sure our members know what's happening with them. And then we say entrepreneurship because we understand that the power to build economic wealth has to go beyond your 9 to 5. And every entrepreneurship doesn't start from scratch. It's also something we stress. So you might be a franchisee owner, you might buy existing business. Like those are different ways. And we want our members to understand that we are here to help you build economic wealth, which also turns into generational wealth, and then goes into dynasty building, 3 generations of money, of access. And that also means diversifying what you look at as an investment. So it's not real estate is one. That's the key. Then we also look at venture capital is being BC with our first pitch competition this year with the national organization, and our own Erin Long won the $50,000 scale up money for her family through FedEx. And so that's what we're here about. How do we help our members build wealth, economic
Family.
wealth?
Tell us what Family is, because
Family is a eco-friendly feminine hygiene product started by Erin Long.
Okay. All right.
If you're coming to our gala on the 26th, she'll be there receiving Entrepreneur of the Year. But that's what we do. So we want to make sure our members, and also with our members, understand MBA not required. You come to us wherever you are, right? Where you just starting, we got you. We'll get you connected to resources and opportunities to just learn. That education piece comes in again. Or if you're in advance, like one of our members has 3 hotels already, how can we help them scale up So part of that is that we want to make sure we can help you at any stage you're in. I'm excited to say that we have a MOU with the MBDA, and we had a great call with them about how can we start getting access to technical assistance, which is free through their 100 and some odd centers across the country. So we're really focused on making sure our members, we don't want to be gatekeepers and open the gates of opportunity so our members can grow.
So I had two final questions because I know our time is really short. One, briefly, if you could just maybe talk about one of the biggest, I guess, barriers. People are starting businesses, but there's maybe one barrier that the association looks at that you try to help people through when it comes to being a successful entrepreneur. And then we want to talk a little bit about the event that's coming up. In a couple of weeks.
I would say, honestly, if I could say two things. One is education, like know what you don't know. And then access. Like we want to, again, open those gates. We want to make sure that we're in those rooms and we're going to bring you with us. And that's what happens with most small Black businesses. It's just us. We're a single person, and we want to talk about how can you grow? Because a business is only there if you can exist beyond yourself. So education and access are the two barriers. And education, just because people don't realize what's available to them because they're not aware of it, and that also goes to access. So those would be the two, I would say.
Okay, and then finally, you got a big event coming up also at the end of the month. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we have our annual Scholarship and Awards Gala. We actually are going to be in MGM Grand Hotel, the Grand Ballroom. We grew from last year. And we give away about almost $30,000 worth of scholarships, again, from grade school to grad school. And then we also present about a dozen chapter awards to our members and sponsors and supporters. So we're always excited every October to come out and just celebrate the work we're doing. It's a fundraiser as well. It helps our scholarship fund and our Leaders of Tomorrow's program. So yeah, October 26th.
We want to put up at least the information on how folks can get more information about the MBA. There we go. Yes, want to make sure that's correct?
No, I don't know what that is.
No. Yeah. So give us a website. Yeah.
Our website is dcblackmbaa.org. So it's dcblackmbaa.org. You can go there and go to gatherings, and the link is there how you can purchase tickets.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to get that up before we say goodbye because I want to make sure folks see it. dcblackmbaa.org.
Yes,
we're moving slow on the keys here,
okay,
but there we go. That's it. Okay, all right. So we want folks to take note of that. Go to the website, find out more information about the organization, get your tickets, get involved, get help, get assistance.
MBA not required. Come join us.
Well, thanks for telling me that.
Yes. I know it's our new tagline, so don't feel bad. I speak quite a bit, and I tell people MBA not required. Oh, really? I'm like, yes, come join us. We have fun.
Wonderful. All right. I know you have fun. I saw it. So I may have been the oldest person in the room, but I'm like, hey, this is the place to be.
Yes,
so thank you so much, Dr. Carletta Hunt, for being with us.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes. Thank you.
All righty. So long. So, okay, we got a couple of events taking place. We've got organizations that have resources for you. I don't care if you're, and it looks like so far we've talked about from cradle to grave almost. There's help, there's assistance, there's a family, there's a community. And so we're going to now segue to our next segment, where we will talk with Vanessa Anthony, who's going to update us on a powerful project that she's engaged with called the Atonement Series. So before we talk to Vanessa, let's look at this teaser trailer of the series.
I was living with the devil.
Somebody really reversed it.
Wow. Vanessa, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Uh,
Hey, Denise.
yeah, not only am I thrilled to have you as a guest on the show, but was a thrilling trailer about the series that you're about to introduce to us. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm glad that you're bringing this opportunity to us. Tell us about this story, this film that you've been working on, or the series.
Well, actually, it's an adaptation of a short film that I produced and wrote in Chiba, Tokyo, Japan, years ago. It was a short film called Death of a Drunk. And years later, I decided to create a pilot in 2014. And I worked with a powerful cast. And we were able to complete the pilot and take it off. And then I decided to make it into a mini series, a 6-episode series. So I'm going to just share the synopsis of what the story is about. This 6-part crime thriller follows a DC homicide detective who takes on a case in rural Georgia where he uncovers a web of small town secrets and lies. He finds an unlikely alliance with a troubled local woman who harbors a dark secret of her own. It is a thriller, and it is a suspense series, and it addresses domestic violence and mental health. So my inspiration of this series comes from a desire to tell a story that will connect with the audience on those issues. Even though of its genre set in rural Georgia, it explores the psychological aspects of battered woman syndrome and mental health.
Wow, that's it's timely. It tells an interesting story, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. But Vanessa, tell me, what was your journey into this topic and into this genre? I mean, you're a filmmaker, so I mean, tell us how did you decide to just focus in on domestic violence?
Well, I think, it holds very dear to me, the whole issue. I can just give you just a little backstory. When I was young, and a tragic event occurred in my family. There were cousins, distant cousins, but my grandmother knew very well of them. And this was in, I believe, Meriwether County in Georgia. And we attended a funeral. And never before I attended a funeral with 2 caskets. It was both the mother and the daughter who were victims of a domestic violence dispute, and in which the daughter's boyfriend took their lives. And at that time, many people didn't know, we didn't know what was going on, because nobody was really talking about, whether she was being abused. And so it was until it happened. And fortunately, justice was not properly served as he got off. He was in custody for a short period, but he was locked up for another incident. So it really, it was a very traumatic experience. And, I guess through the story, I wanted to highlight the ongoing injustice too, surrounding domestic violence, and how it can have a profound impact on the victims, family, and friends, both emotionally and psychologically.
The theme, the Atonement Series. Why that title?
Redemption. I think there is hope. We find redemption in our character, our main character, Detective Robert Grant. Even though he has issues of his own, he actually didn't have an opportunity to save his sister, who was also a victim of domestic violence. So in order to redeem himself, he takes on this case in Georgia. He goes back into Georgia to help someone. So he's like this guiding light to help, but he finds out that sometimes help is not always, people who are damaged aren't always trustworthy, so he would be the atonement. He's the character of the atonement, redemption.
How can folks view this series?
Well, right now it will. We have our trailer up, and if they want to support our series, they can go to the atonementseries.com, and we are in our pre-production stage at the moment. So far, we've successfully raised funds through our first campaign, which we launched last year. And we're incredibly grateful to all of our contributors and supporters. Our team has grown. We have a fiscal sponsorship now that has helped us tremendously in moving forward with the project. We're working diligently on our second campaign, which kicks off tomorrow, October 5th, Saturday. They can go to our website once again at www.atonementseries.com. And there you'll find our website and crowdfunding pages and details about the location scouting we've done so far in Georgia and other production updates. So I hope people will, get involved. Again, this is not just about domestic violence awareness. It's about taking action and getting the community involved.
Have you done films before? Is this one of your first productions, or have you done others?
Thank you for asking. I have been writing a lot, and finally, I love thriller, I love suspense, and my next film, a short film that's in pre-development, is called "This Is What It Looked Like." So that's also in pre-development stages. But I've had a film that we produced back in 2019. It won Best Sound, Best Short Film. It was called Mr. Big Shot, and it screened at the Wheaton Film Festival in Maryland. And I've had previous screenings for a short film that I produced in Tokyo, Japan, and it was screened in Mumbai, Pomelo International Film Festival in India, Tokyo Design Festa, and the Urban Media Makers Film Festival in Atlanta, Georgia. So I've been writing, and I have worked mostly with shorts. The Atonement Series is the biggest project I've ever worked on. And it has been through some transitions from a feature film into a mini series, and but I'm so happy to have had the wonderful people who I currently work with, Jennifer Howard, Prestige Blakely, Greg Davis, and Jasmine Brooking. They've been supportive and believing in this project. I'm looking forward to filming next summer.
So, one of the things, there are two things that inspire me and maybe others about this conversation. One, there are a lot of people out there that, have stories to tell and would like to get into the filmmaking business. So the fact that you're here with us to talk about, your journey has been great. And then also the cost. No one knows really what does that mean. And so here, I know you're, doing fundraising for the Atonement Series, and you've done others. I mean, give us a ballpark of what it really takes financially to get a film from, concept to actually on screen, even if it's the small screen.
Even if it's a small screen. And I think when I first produced my pilot for this particular project, if I had have known what I know now back then, I think it would have taken off. But at the time, the script itself, it's all about the script and the story. And and I could just say never give up, but it takes more than one person to work on a project. To get a group together and you share the same goals, share the same vision, and to see what opportunities are out there. There are plenty of film funds out there. There are scholarships, but I think we have to look beyond the film funds, because most of the film funds are for documentary type of films. Okay. This is not a documentary.
Right.
It's a series for television. So we have to approach it as such. So it's for streaming. It's not for theatrical release. It's specifically for streaming. So there's various budgets. Get to know, we've had to get online to reach out to get the directors. I would say maybe if you're working on a project, get someone who's directed before And
So
they,
one of the things I hear in your conversation, every time you mention something, I'm hearing a cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I mean,
yes,
it's just
oh
lots of costs that are involved.
yeah, it
And
is.
so
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons you're seeking some support for this series,
Absolutely.
which is a great story to tell. We're going to put the information up again for folks to take a look at. And when do you hope, as we close out, when do you hope to have this launched?
Well, I'm hoping to have, our goal is to have this launched next summer, and we're looking into next summer, July and August. And we've met, we've explored partnerships, with the writing and perhaps with domestic violence related nonprofit organizations to help us tell the story more authentically and to help us provide appropriate trigger warnings and accurate emergency info for survivors and their advocates. So through that,
Wonderful.
all that's important. Um,
Wonderful.
so, and we just hope that the story will be compelling, and it's all about the story, not rushing. But again, the goal is next summer, and bringing on interns so they can get credit for working on our small production. And so we're looking at next summer, 2025. We got a great production director of photography already on board with us. And we're
Fantastic.
excited about that. Yes. Mhm.
Well, we wish you the best. It looks like it will be. It's a must see once it's on the streaming scene. And again, we just hope that this moves forward because we can't talk enough about this serious issue, and looking for ways to help people who are involved. So I
Yeah.
want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
It was
having me, giving me this
a pleasure.
opportunity. Thank you so much.
Okay, Vanessa, take care.
You too. Bye bye.
All righty. Bye-bye. So last, but most definitely not least, we are beyond thrilled to have the one and only Wintley Phipps joining us to discuss the highly anticipated U.S. Dream Academy celebration. I'm not going to tell you anymore because I want to hear his voice, but two, and I want to welcome him back. And three, I want him to give us all the exciting news about what's coming up again on October the 10th. Wintley Phipps, welcome to Let's Talk.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be with you. And to me, you're Washington royalty, okay?
Oh God, thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. So I'm excited about, the Dream Academy and all the work that you've been doing. Tell us a little bit about the US Dream Academy for those who don't know.
Sure. It's been over 30 years now. I was on an Amtrak train from Baltimore to Philadelphia. And on Amtrak, when you don't want someone sitting next to you, you learn how to camp out. You put your papers and your food all around you, and you send a message, please find someplace else to sit. Well, this man had camped out, but when I looked into his eyes, he looked really low and discouraged. There were other seats available, but I walked up to him. I said, excuse me, is anybody sitting next to you? And he smiled. He said, no. And he pulled up his papers and his briefcase. That man's name was Chuck Colson. Now, that name doesn't ring a bell. He went to prison for the Watergate scandal. He was one of Richard Nixon's henchmen.
Wow.
And while in prison, he made a decision that when he came out of prison, he was going to spend the rest of his life helping prisoners and their families. And that's what he did till he died. Well, we became good friends from that train ride, and he began to take me with him to the prisons of America all around the country. And it was an education for me. One prison I went to in Ridgeland, South Carolina, where they actually filmed the movie Dead Man Walking. As I was greeting the young men, just for a moment, it felt like I was on a Black college campus. It felt like an HBCU, except it was prison. One Easter Sunday morning, we went down to a prison in Florida, Marion, Florida. I sang at the women's prison, and when I finished singing Amazing Grace, a young lady came up to me pregnant, about to have her baby in prison. And she had tears in her eyes. She said, excuse me, sir. She said, your wife named Linda? I said, yes. She said, that's my aunt. we didn't realize that my wife's brother's daughter was in prison and about
Wow.
to give birth in prison. And then we began to look at the family dynamics, and all 7 of my wife's brothers and sisters have been incarcerated or been in prison at some point in their lives. Her older sister had 6 children. 5 of them have been in prison. Well, while I was on this board of Mr. Colson's board of directors of Prison Fellowship Ministries, the largest prison ministry in the world, a very alarming statistic surfaced that about 60, 70% of the kids in America, depending on the city, who end up going to prison, the kids who end up going to prison, come from the children of those who are in prison now. And so it was birthed in my heart and my spirit. We got to do something to break this cycle of intergenerational incarceration. And so we started 26 years ago this unusual outreach, charity, ministry to children whose parents are in prison and children who are falling behind in school, because we studied the problem. And here's what we found, that by the age of 30, this is crazy, but by the age of 30, 60% of all Black boys in the United States of America who do not graduate from high school, by the age of 30, they will have spent time in prison. 60% of them.
Wow.
And so we realized that school failure is a key indicator. And so we built one of the first organizations of its kind 26 years ago. Nobody was really talking about doing it this way. And that is, we built an organization that provides tutoring and mentoring, focused on academic skill building, what we call dream building, opening up the visions and opportunities for young people to see more than just what they live with around them, and critical, and this is very critical, character building, because when the family collapses, you need to increase the density of caring, loving adults in the life orbit of kids that can help strengthen their character. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't hear anything I said, listen to this. At the end of the day, character is everything. You hire for skills, but you fire for character. And so we have our gala coming up next week, the 10th. And I'm sad to have to say that if you go online, it might say sold out.
That's sad, but that's good news.
Oprah Winfrey is our special guest. She'll be there in person. And our kids, you're going to see a celebration of the work that we do. But you can still give. You can still support us. And we're one of the few organizations. I'm going to share this with you that will be very significant. Did you know that there's about $70 billion that are given by foundations to charitable organizations each year in the United States of America?
Right.
But only 3% go to organizations that are run by people of color.
So
3%.
Yeah, the frustrating thing about all that you're saying, one is that the cycle of incarceration continues. 30 years ago, it's as bad then, was as bad then as it is now. And then the inequities in nonprofit giving is the same. It hasn't changed. So regardless of that, can you, tell us, and I'm really curious about, the impact that the Dream Academy has had, even if it's on one family or one kid. Give us an example of something that the Academy has really, where they made a difference.
Sure. Well, we've had over 12,000 kids come through our program. And I will tell you, one of the ones that sticks in my heart was a mother brought 2 of her children to the Dream Academy twins. Both had failed the first grade.
Mm.
And we took them under our wings. And again, we focused on academic support. We focused on dream building, on character building. And these two young men just blossomed. They thrived. And there's so many stories. As a matter of fact, last year, one of the young men that we honored, an alumnus of our organization, became a fashion designer. And he actually dressed me for the occasion, so for our gala. So I was looking really good.
I know. I'd love to see that photo. Sure was great.
But,
Yeah.
that-
Does the program operate in schools? I mean, how do families access the support of the Dream Academy?
Yeah, we're trying to, we operate primarily in schools. Schools give us access and space. Sadly, once you go into an inner city school, those kids that we're talking about reaching, there's just way too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're also trying to do, because we realize we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, not even the tip really of the iceberg. We're trying to build out the kind of outreach that is virtual. So we want to be able to do virtual mentoring and virtual support. Most of these kids got a cell phone in their hands. They've got access to the web. Why not use those devices to really strengthen their character and their academics? So we're working on trying to expand our reach through the virtual and through technology.
And tell me, because I think, I know the relationships that you've had over the years with Oprah Winfrey. She's loved and adored by everybody, not only in the U.S., but even around the world. But what is her connection to the Dream Academy? How has she either supported the program or why was she selected as one of your honorees?
Well, I'll tell you two quick things. One, the fact that I tell you that little 3%, it's one of the reasons you don't see a lot of minority-led charities thriving,
mm-hmm.
because it's really, really hard to keep it going for us, 27, 26 years now.
Exactly.
Well, we're blessed because one of the reasons is because about 42, 43 years ago, a long time ago. Remember how old you were 43 years ago, right?
I do.
But 43 years ago, I'm a singer, a gospel singer, a bass baritone gospel singer, and I was singing in Baltimore at the Civic Center, and I came down off the platform, and I felt a tap on my shoulder, and this young lady was standing there. She said, "Excuse me, sir, I just heard you sing. I feel like I can talk to you." She looked like she was discouraged. And I said, "Sure." She said, "Do you have time to talk to me?" I said, "Sure." She came by our home. We lived in Columbia, Maryland at the time. She came by our home. We talked and prayed. I'm a person of faith, and we prayed. And after praying with her, I said, before you go, God has impressed me to tell you He's going to bless you and give you an opportunity to speak to millions of people. She said, "You think God would do that for me?" And it was Oprah Winfrey, and that's how we met all those years ago. She's never forgotten that word that God used me to speak into her heart, and she's cherished it all these years today. And I said to her once, I said, when the Lord impressed me, you'd be speaking to millions of people. I didn't think it was going to be every day. And she, as a consequence, she is probably in the history of this country, the most generous philanthropist I've ever come across. And were it not for her generosity, I'm talking about millions and 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 millions. Were it not for the generosity of Oprah Winfrey, our organization would not have survived, and many others would not have survived. Yeah.
Well, it's I remember watching her on the Baltimore channel back in those days, because it's funny, I could get Baltimore channels better than I could DC channels where I was living. And yeah, it's been quite a treat to watch, her evolution. And the fact that she will be at your gala at the Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I mean, to grace, we've had some amazing talent come to that school,
Oh,
but to
yeah.
see the talent that comes into the school and that you're bringing her there is just, why did you all decide to do it at Duke Ellington?
Well, we wanted to do it a little differently. Normally we do the hotel thing with
Right,
you sit
right.
down, eat, but I wanted it to be a much more intimate, inspirational evening. And Duke Ellington is a fabulous, fabulous theater. One of the folks that will be singing, I'm not sure if you know, from Chic. She used to be one of the members of Chic, and she's also a graduate of Duke Ellington School, and it's going to be a fabulous evening, and I'm just hoping if things change, if some seats come available, that some folks might be able to get to see it.
Well, the fact that, I mean, it's okay if they can't. If they can't, they can. I'm sure. Maybe is this maybe going to be broadcast at some later date?
Well, I hope it might be, but that's not the
Okay.
plan at this time. But
Okay.
it will be recorded, that's for sure.
So we've put information up, and I'm going to put it up again because we certainly do want people to learn more about the U.S. Dream Academy, to be able to support the work that the Dream Academy is doing. And so whether you can get there or not, you can still be a part of it,
Right.
and I guess invest in its continued success. So I want to thank you so much for being with us, Wintley Phipps. You're always welcome here at the Informer, and let us know. We want to even amplify some of the stories, maybe of some of the young people in the DC metro area that you've touched, and how we
Yeah.
can talk about how the Dream Academy has made a difference in their lives.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
All righty. Thanks a lot for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All righty. Well, that brings us brings us to the end of another edition of Let's Talk. I'm so happy that you all were with us, and I'm really excited about our guests. I think we had a great program today. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our incredible guests, filmmaker Vanessa Anthony, Terrance King, President and CEO of the National Children's Center, Dr. Carletta Hunt, President of the Black MBA Association, Washington, D.C. chapter, and of course to Wintley Phipps, who is just an amazing person whose life has been spent blessing people, not only with his words, but with his voice. So remember, we want you to register for AARP's Pickleball and Health Screening event in Ward 7. And I will see you back here next Friday at noon at Let's Talk. So until then, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a great week ahead. God bless.